Hey guys, Dr. Rebecca Warren here, and I just wanted to jump on and talk about something that has been popping up a lot in consults that we're doing with people that we're coaching, questions that we're getting online, and that is stress, really adrenal dysfunction. And so I want to clarify something about stress. You know, a lot of times when we bring up the conversation of stress in a consult, we'll say, hey, we think there's a stress thing, and automatically we associate stress with work or stress with raising kids. But stress is real or perceived. So what does that mean? Stress can be a physical thing. If you're in pain, if you're having headaches, if your spine's a mess, if you're sick all the time, if you have a low immune system, that's stress. But what about perceived stress? That means anything that your body is downloading, even negative thoughts. A perfect example right now is having the news on in the background or getting into the car and hearing the radio, and they're giving you numbers of mortality, of people that are dying, of people that you can't see, that you don't know, and all they're reporting is them as numbers or cases or negative news. What you have to understand is that your body's amazing. And since the beginning of time, since God created us, our body has worked to keep us alive. And it does that through cortisol, through epinephrine and norepinephrine. So our body's always downloading external messages about whether we're safe or not. And it doesn't matter how much our environment has changed, how much technology we have, how smart science has gotten, it's never going to outsmart the body. And so the body's always downloading what's going on out here so that it can change what's going on in here. So if every day we are living in this world that all we hear is bad, negative news, this isn't just making you feel bad. This is changing your physiology from the inside out. And there's certain things that can happen. How do you know if maybe you're chronically stressed? Like if maybe there's a cortisol issue going on. Now there's different phases of adrenal dysfunction, and it can show up differently in different people. So just a side note, if you wanted to get tested, you don't go to your doctor and get blood work and get tested one time. Your cortisol changes throughout the day from the minute you wake up to 30 minutes afterwards to an hour afterwards. It changes in the afternoon. It changes at night. So if you wanted to get an accurate picture of where's my cortisol, you want to do a whole day saliva test where you're collecting your saliva and you're seeing the patterns of cortisol. And that's how we test. If you want some information about that, you can go to drswarren.com. But what are some symptoms of, okay, are my adrenals wonky? So for women, if your adrenals are dysfunctional and you're overwhelmed and stressed, then what we're seeing is you can have changes in your period, longer, shorter, your cycles are longer, you can ovulate earlier, you can ovulate later. So I had multiple women back in April when everything was picking up that reached out to me and they were like, oh my gosh, my cycle was only 21 days when usually it's 28. Yeah, your body's gonna change because just so you know, when you're stressed, you're in survival mode and nothing's just gonna work normally, okay? Another red flag is if you're exhausted. So let's talk about the exhaustion you can feel. You can wake up in the morning and even if you got 8 hours of sleep, 9 hours of sleep, you're still ready for a nap at 2. You wake up in the morning, and if you need coffee to just get through, and if you're drinking 2 cups of coffee, that's a big red flag that you don't have enough cortisol. Cortisol should be high in the morning. It peaks within 30 minutes to an hour after waking up, and then it's supposed to slowly come down. So if you're waking up in the morning and you're tired, here's a few other things. If you drink your coffee, and a lot of people are like, man, I drink my coffee and I don't feel anything, that's not good. Remember, coffee is a stimulant. So if you're drinking coffee and you're feeling exhausted after drinking coffee, or drinking coffee you're not feeling anything, there's some adrenal dysfunction there. How about after working out? If you work out and then after working out you do an intense workout and you're tired, that's an adrenal issue because working out will increase cortisol, which is a good thing. You're putting your body under stress so that you can change your body. But you're not going to see results if your body is exhausted. Some other things, okay, that I said that 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock nap time, or that 2 or 3 o'clock where you need a snack, you need some sugar, you need some coffee, adrenal dysfunction. How about at night? How about you're ready to go to bed and you're laying there at night and you're wide awake and you have thoughts running through your head. So you're wired, but you're tired. Like you would love to go to bed, but you can't. That's an adrenal dysfunction. What I find is that people have opposite patterns. So you should be high cortisol in the morning. That's what wakes you up naturally. And then as it decreases, that's when you're going to go to sleep, because it goes opposite with melatonin. So if cortisol is high, melatonin is low. But what I'm finding is people with adrenal dysfunction, most of the time, this is not everyone, but at night your cortisol will be high, so you're in high alert and you're processing things, and then your melatonin is low, so it's really, really hard for you to go to sleep. Now, there's ways to use melatonin in a healthy way, but a lot of people are taking melatonin, valerian root, sleeping medication, which sleep medication has only ever been studied to be used for only 2 weeks at a time. I've seen people on it for years. When you just go in and knock yourself out, you're missing another part. You're missing that cortisol, that adrenal thing. And so you can knock yourself out, but you're never fully rested, because sleeping is not just sleeping. It's about getting into a deep, restful sleep. So it's about healing. It's about resetting. And so if you're not naturally producing that melatonin, you're not going to have, you're not going to be well balanced throughout the day. So it's not just about going to sleep. It's about being well rested, deep sleep, and then having adequate cortisol and melatonin the way it should be throughout the day. Now, if your adrenals are dysfunctional, then you can't handle stress very well. And I see this sometimes. So men, if you feel like you're losing like your patience, or you're like kind of lashing out and you're exhausted, but you're pushing through. A lot of people, I see that. They're exhausted, but they push through. That's not normal either. So when your adrenals are dysfunctional, you can stub your toe, you can be in anxious situations, you can get sick, and you just don't recover well, because that survival response that helps you bounce back is just overwhelmed. So if those symptoms sound similar to you, if right now you're thinking, man, I do feel off, I'm tired, but then my mind's going crazy, or I'm not recovering as well, or my thoughts are kind of running crazy. I mean, all of those symptoms are telling you that there's something going on with your body that you have to address. And it's understandable. There's so much out there in the world that you can't control. The news, the Facebook post. I mean, I'm sorry guys, I have to silence a bunch of people on my Facebook, which you can do. You have to silence the things that you're looking at, so you're not bombarded and overwhelmed and telling your body that you're in survival mode. So that's that. So what are some things that you can start doing? The really cool, interesting thing about our bodies, especially when it comes to adrenals, yes, there's supplements you can take like adaptogens and high vitamin C, and everyone's going to be different according to what they need, if they need glandulars, if they just need nutrients, if they need adaptogens. But one of the best ways for you to reset your adrenals is through lifestyle techniques, okay? It means going to sleep at the same time and waking up at the same time helps reset your circadian rhythm, which affects both your melatonin and your cortisol. Just going to sleep at the same time, letting your body know there's a cycle. Because ancestrally, we went to sleep with the moon, and we went to sleep when it was dark outside, and then we woke up with the sun. Now we're going to sleep. So what's more important? Is it waking up at the same time? Is it going to sleep at the same time? Listen, just try, regardless of if you want your first step, regardless of what time you go to sleep, wake up at the same time. Wake up, but I'm just so tired, I can't wake up in the morning. You wake up and you immediately get into sunlight. You open that window, but even better, go outside barefoot. Let your body take in the light spectrum from the sun to wake itself up. In the presence of that natural light, you're going to see melatonin come down, and it's going to boost your cortisol. A lot of times we're waking up, we're staying inside, we're not seeing sun, or it's getting filtered through the window. So first things first, wake up at the same time. Best thing is to wake up at the same time and go to sleep at the same time. Now, blue light is messing up our HPA axis, hypothalamus, pituitary, and adrenal axis. So it's not just going to sleep and not look. So the first step with blue light is this. First step you can do you got to give up technology an hour before bed. Read, put your phone on airplane mode, unplug your Wi-Fi, stop being bombarded by technology. That blue light messes with melatonin and cortisol production. And it's not that like your screen is blue, it's just the undertones of that light spectrum that technology uses. It messes with this balance that you need. It does a lot, okay? So first step is get rid of technology. Second step is get some blue light blocking glasses. You can get on Amazon. Dr. Nathan uses Felix Gray. They have a lot of really great glasses there. But the truth is we are being bombarded all day long with this artificial light, and it's kind of getting us wired to be alert at all times. And so really it's not just that we're seeing technology at night, which we are, because a lot of you guys are like on your phones right before falling asleep or have your TV on, but it's because we're being bombarded all day. So Dr. Rebecca, you're telling me like if I just cut back in technology, I can sleep better? Yeah, that's exactly what I'm telling you. Another thing you can do is do grounding, going outside barefoot. Listen, earthing is not like this thing that's going to heal everything. Earthing is how we're supposed to live. We're supposed to be barefoot connecting with the earth, and now we're lacking something that's essential. So going outside barefoot in the morning, going outside barefoot when the sun is setting, getting those positive ions, charging and recharging your body. We've done videos on this. There's studies that show it decreases chronic inflammation. It rebalances cortisol. They actually did a smaller study on people that laid on an earthing mat, and they were not only able to sleep better through the night, they were able to get deeper sleep, and they were more well rested, and their stress levels were down. So going outside, breathing the air, connecting. And listen guys, I'm a person that like wants like, no, let me know all the supplements. I don't want to go breathe the earth. It's essential though, like it's essential to go outside barefoot and do those types of things. So looking at your environment and figuring out how can I stop signaling to my body, both consciously and subconsciously, that I'm not in survival mode. Turn off the TV, turn off the radio, affirmations, quiet time, meditation. Again, those are my weaknesses. If you guys know the Enneagram, I'm an 8. I gotta go and get stuff done. But taking time, and they've done studies on this, on that mindset of resetting and visualizing positive thoughts, positive emotions, positive feelings will change the physiology of your body completely. So doing that in the morning, starting the day off right, and doing it at night so you can rest. And I'm not talking about you gotta do a whole hour like a lot of people do, like Dr. Joe's like does whole hours, but taking a few minutes and taking box breathing, taking in deep breaths. The other thing with breathing is that when you're in survival response, you take a lot more shallow breaths. And we're doing that constantly throughout the day. We're not actually taking as much breaths, taking in as much oxygen as we can. And they've done studies on that, on how our lung capacity has gone down because our shoulders are forward, our spine's a mess. We had this forward head shift, and then now we're like taking shallow breaths. We're just not getting as much oxygen. So it's a really cool thing I've done with Elijah. He's our 4.5-year-old, is when he's having difficulties thinking, I'll have him take a second and I say, hey, take 2 deep breaths. Let's get oxygen in our body. And it's really cool because he's getting frustrated because he can't think of what he's saying or he's trying to say something. But when he takes time to take 3 deep breaths in, he gets oxygen into his body calms down, and automatically he can speak. Guys, we're just like kids. We're just big kids that ignore the most basic needs that our body is asking for. So when we're looking at all the stress that's going on and cortisol being all out of whack and why am I fatigued, why am I tired, the first step is to look at the lifestyle of this world that you've created around you. Is it a world that's telling you that everything's okay? Or is it a world that's telling you you're literally like in stress response all the time, survival response? And I understand there's not a lot that you can do in regards to the environment. Like there's not a lot you can do about mask mandates and things being shut down and people doing things and people saying things, but you are 100% in control of how you respond to it. And the biggest thing that we're seeing with adrenals is that it's not just the stress response, it's our response and our fixation on it. So how we respond to it is what perpetuates dysfunction within our adrenals. It's what perpetuates this chronic stress response, is how we sit in the suck. Like we sit in this negative state and we allow ourselves to stay there. It's okay to be under stress short term. It's that chronically staying in that suck that is really wearing people down and just allowing your adrenals to be overwhelmed. Now, there's things that you can do for your adrenals, and my number one thing I'm gonna recommend that's gonna be perfect right now for immunity and for your adrenals is vitamin C. Now, you want liposomal, you want bioavailable vitamin C, and you want it at high dosages. A lot of you guys are taking it and not taking enough. So vitamin C is essential, not just for, hey, strengthening our immune system, but vitamin C is a good way. Vitamin C works with cortisol. So if your cortisol is depleted, your vitamin C is depleted. As you work to replenish high amounts of vitamin C, you're gonna work on balancing out that cortisol. So our favorite, it's on our Wellevate store. If you go to drswarren.com, store Wellevate, you can see it on there. It's buffered vitamin C from Designs for Health. We love it because it's a powder. It tastes good, and I can do 2,500 milligrams in one serving. So let me go ahead and tell you guys, I'm doing that high of a serving multiple times a day. Me, Dr. Nathan, our kids, because we need it for immunity and we need it to reset our adrenals. So guys, if you have any questions at all, leave a comment. If you've done anything for your adrenal that really helps, let me know here, and make sure to share this video because you wouldn't believe how many of your loved ones, friends, family, coworkers, church members, neighbors are needing help with resetting those adrenals. See you guys next time.